Yes, ladies and gentlemen, surprise emergency podcast today. Welcome back to another episode of the United Spurs of America podcast. Michael Ramirez alongside Jacob Wallraven. Jacob, how are you
Hey.
doing today, brother? Um,
Oh man. I don't know. I guess if you're Jose out, you're having a good day, right?
so that is why we're having an emergency podcast on this fine Monday evening. Jose Mourinho sacked his Tottenham Hotspur manager earlier this morning. Wow, definitely didn't expect it to happen this soon. We had talked about it a little bit, Jacob, after
Yeah.
the podcast post match Everton, and you even
Mhm.
brought up the question. You were like, "Hey, like, is this his last game? Is this his last week as Tottenham Hotspur manager?" And I think we kind of brushed that aside because I don't think we really thought that it would
Yeah.
happen this soon.
No.
But Lord and behold, my friend, he's sacked. Jose Mourinho is not the manager of Tottenham Hotspur anymore. But what were your initial reactions, man? I know you like Jose Mourinho. I definitely enjoyed the good times that we had with him. I know you
Yeah.
had a little bit of a stronger connection with Jose.
Yeah, no. Very sad news to wake up to. I think you had texted me, it was about 3:30 in the morning my time.
Yeah.
I had just gotten the second dose of the COVID vaccine. So we're fighting a good fight, but I was coming out of I had a 2-day side effect. I don't know what you want to call it, but I was coming out of that. The last few nights it's been cold sweats, and this is my first night of good sleep,
Mhm.
and that's the first thing I see. So it kind of, I didn't
I
want to
hated
say
to
it
ruin your
was.
morning, my friend.
No, it didn't ruin it. You're keeping me in the loop, and I appreciate that. But no, it was definitely. I saw the text from you saying that Jose was sacked, and then I had a text from my brother, and he never texts me anything Tottenham, right? He never texts
Yeah.
me anything about soccer, and he's texting me something about a Super League. So I'm hella confused in the morning. I'm like, Jose sacked, Super League, Tottenham are greedy. What's going on? Just a lot going on. I think
Yep.
that's why we need to hop on and do this emergency pod, because just a lot going on, a lot of confusion, but yeah, Jose's gone. Tough day for me anyway.
It
Uh,
has been a wacky 24 hours to say the least in just world football in general, man. But
oh yeah,
particularly for anyone related to Spurs, anyone with a connection to Spurs, the past 24 hours have been a whirlwind of emotions. We'll get into the European Super League in a little bit near the end of the pod. But the other part of why it was such a whirlwind of 24 hours for Spurs fans is because Jose Mourinho did get sacked this morning, and I was just shocked, man. Like honestly, I honest to God did not expect them to sack Jose before the Carabao Cup final. I thought they were going to at
yeah,
least give him till the cup final, see
yeah.
how they finished maybe at the end of the season, and then make a decision in the summer. But we'll get into it in a little bit. It sounded like it was more than past due, though,
Yeah. No.
of him getting out the door. But yeah, man, I was just as surprised as you were. I woke up for work this morning, checked my phone, scrolled through Twitter, refreshed it once. All it took was one refresh this morning, my friend, and my world got turned upside down to say the least, man. I was so shocked when I saw that Jose Mourinho had been sacked as a Tottenham manager. And then when I saw that Ryan Mason was going to be appointed as caretaker and was going to run today's training, it was just a lot to process. I will say, you know, nothing but respect to Jose Mourinho. Um,
17 months is a not a long time to give someone a chance to turn a club around.
yeah,
I think I alluded to this on the last pod that, getting rid of the manager is kind of the easy fix, right? It's putting the band-aid on with none of the ointment. You still got the cut. You still need to heal your wound. And to me, that's the players, that's the divide in the locker room.
yep,
So without addressing that issue, they just kind of cut the head off the snake and said, okay, well, you know, I don't know. It comes 24 hours after the whole Super League thing comes out. To me, seems a bit fishy. Seems like Tottenham's more, all right, if everyone's going to get this negative flack, right? Let's turn Tottenham's attention towards, oh, we just sacked the manager. It does seem very odd that he got sacked before the cup final. You bring the
yeah,
man here to get you trophies. He gets you to one final, and you sack him 6 days before that final. I think you give the quote unquote caretaker you give him a difficult challenge, but you also give yourself an out to lose the cup. And I think that that's what this mostly was, an out for Tottenham to basically say, look, well, we didn't have our manager. It's no wonder we didn't make top four. It's no wonder we didn't win that Carabao Cup. You know what I mean? I just feel like it's just the easy solution. It kind of really makes me mad that that's the route that they wanted to go. To me, I felt like, hey, if you really didn't like the way this man's taking your club, sack him at the end of the year, start fresh with someone new. To do this at the end of the, I mean, if you're going to do it, you should have done it whenever we were on the downslide, in
Oh
my
yeah,
opinion.
for sure.
Because if you look at what Chelsea did when they appointed Thomas Tucci, whatever his name is, whenever
Tucci.
whenever they appointed Lil Wayne as their manager, basically like he turned their season around. Now they're still fighting for a top four. But quote, I mean, what I just said, still fighting for a top four. It's not even guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
to me, it just seems the easy solution to just say, oh well, sack the manager. And I know uh, people are kind of torn on this issue if it's the right thing to do or not. But I'm also think something I've said before is you just got to back the club that you support through these decisions like this. So for me, you know, when come Wednesday when we play Southampton, I think I'll get over it. Today I'm still a little salty, just because I think yeah, it's just easy solution.
Yeah, I definitely think it was a distraction, a move as a distraction by Tottenham. I think it was a distraction from the whole Super League news and all of the stick that they were getting from that announcement yesterday. Yeah, man, I was just shocked. I will say, thanks Mourinho for the good times. We did have very good periods under
Some
Mourinho.
great
They were
memes.
short, great memes from the
Yeah,
documentary. I'm sure he earned the club a lot of revenue from the documentary on the All or Nothing, but ultimately, man, his style of play was getting old. It was getting
it
boring. It
wasn't
was
working.
outdated, and yes, that is the most important thing right
It
there.
just wasn't working.
It was not working.
I will say there were times where I had to, kind of swallow my pride and say, yeah, that was just Jose's game plan fucking sucked.
Yep.
And that sucks because I never want to say that about any manager, especially the manager of my club. So yeah, it just wasn't working. I think you're right. It's just, was it time? I guess for Tottenham it was. To me, it
In
just
my
seemed,
in my opinion, I think he should have gotten sacked from the beginning, in my opinion, of our downfall, which
yeah.
was the Europa League exit against Dinamo
See,
Zagreb.
see, if you sack him after that loss to Dinamo Zagreb, I can sit back and say, okay, I understand. You lost 3-0 to fucking Dinamo Zagreb.
Yep.
Okay. But you sack him 6 days before a cup final. To me, that's just disrespectful. I mean, I I just don't understand it. If you look at Jose's Instagram today, he was more
Yeah. Where he
kind of
tweeted a happy emoji and he was filming
the
the
people
news
filming
crews
him.
around him
Yeah.
at his home in London.
Just basically being like they won't leave me alone, they're
Yeah.
bothering me, yeah. Which, hey, I sent the group chat that meme for a reason, because I guess that's the thing I want to try and sleep with at night to make myself feel better about it. Hey, when Jose and Jao, when they get that settlement check, it's gonna be showing that money, baby.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, he's not, I mean, this guy's not, his livelihood is not at stake. It's not like his life is ruined because of this. He's been
Yeah.
sacked before. He'll be fine. Um, yeah, just tough road ahead for Tottenham. I don't think this is going to be a easy one.
Yeah. And then hours after the news had broken about Jose Mourinho getting sacked, there was a few articles out there. There was one in particular written by The Athletic that personally I enjoyed. Definitely recommend reading that. I believe it's by Jack Pittbrook of The Athletic. But anyways, it went into some of the biggest reasons why Jose did end up getting sacked. The locker room divide was probably the biggest issue in my eyes. Players did not like João Sacramento. It turned out to be. He was not liked by any of the players. Didn't have a good relationship with the players. Didn't understand the emotional side of football. That's what the article cited.
I'm curious his
Um,
sources. I'm really curious because
yeah, it
it
just says
sounds like a
sources
very
close with the club.
one-sided. Sounds like we speak of that divide. It sounds like someone way over here on the side of fuck Jose than the other side of hey, let's give this guy a shot. That's just my opinion. It sounds very uh heavily emotional response
Yeah.
to I mean to say those things sounds like fucking Deli Alley if you ask me. If that'd be my guess. Someone uh of that uh who's had that kind of demeanor towards Jose.
Hmm.
But if it is
Yeah,
true, that's highly disappointing. But
it
I think
is.
I think
And
I also
also,
saw something on there saying that Harry Kane was the only one left fighting for Jose, which is
yeah,
bullshit.
the
Which
only one
is
who was still loyal to Jose at the
That's
end.
such bullshit. And
Yeah,
like
I don't think that that part was true because, Højbjerg is very close with Mourinho. Lucas was very appreciative. I understand that Lucas really did care for
he
and
fought
fought for
every game.
Mourinho.
Every fucking game
Um,
Lucas was fighting. Eric
there was a
Lamella.
point there was a point where Lucas had played every single game since Jose had gotten appointed, and it was through like the end of last season, I
Yeah.
believe, or early into the at the beginning of this season. Anyways, you have players like that. Son also showed his appreciation for Jose Mourinho on Instagram. So did Eric Dyer. Some of the young guys, Alfie Devine, Dane Scarlett, guys like that who made their actual professional debuts under Mourinho as well. At the end of the day, man, I wish him nothing but the best, but we got to move on. Like you already mentioned, Jacob, we support the club, got to back the decisions of the club. At the end of the day, this is a decision that they chose to make. Should it have
Oh,
been done sooner, in my opinion? Yeah, probably. But you know what? We got to move on.
I will say
I'm sure they're
you got to give me and the people who were Jose in, you got to give us at least 24 hours, I say. If you have a friend out there who's Jose in, call him up, check on him, but give him 24 hours to grieve because yeah, man, fuck, I wanted that trophy. I felt like with Jose, he's a trophy man. He's a magnet. He attracts the trophies and we
we'll
wanted
see,
one.
man.
Wouldn't it be crazy though? I saw a tweet. I think you sent it or someone sent it to me. Uh, the caretaker, he would if he wins a trophy, it'd be like the fastest any manager's ever won a trophy in his
Yeah,
career.
something like that.
And of course, for since Tottenham hasn't won one in what 18 years,
It's been since 2008, so however long that is, 12
13 years,
years,
13.
13.
Yeah. Well,
The Carling
yeah,
Cup. And I believe
yeah,
that was against Chelsea, I want to say. I think it was against Chelsea. But
yeah.
yeah, man, it's going to be tough. Like we already said, Brian Mason is appointed as caretaker. He led the training session today. He's going to lead the training session from now on. We have Southampton on Wednesday, Man City on Sunday, and it's not just Man City, right? It's the Carabao Cup final. So, like you already mentioned, Jacob, very, very difficult challenge for Ryan Mason and company. The only person who did not get let go as a manager or assistant today was Ledley King,
Let's
the
go.
club legend still
Let's
in
go.
Tottenham.
Ledley.
I believe he's still going to be on the management crew, the coaching staff for Tottenham, with the new temporary staff, and then I believe the new head coach, whoever gets appointed as the new head coach, will make that decision whether or not he wants to keep him on. So definitely a good opportunity once again for Ledley King to continue that development. And who knows, maybe he'll be a future head coach one day for Tottenham Hotspur. You never know.
You never know.
Any final thoughts, man? Ryan Mason, obviously, played 2 seasons with the club, came up through the academy. I'm honestly super excited for him just because he did fracture his skull a few years ago, which forced him to retire early. He had a transfer to Hull City, got injured at Hull City, and then was forced to retire. So big ups for him. Massive opportunity ahead for him. But like I said, 2 seasons, scored some pretty important goals. I remember he scored a game winner, I believe, in the FA Cup, if I'm not mistaken, in 2016. He had some
Hmm.
injury issues that season and then ended up getting transferred to Hull. But it's going to be a good opportunity for him, man. Any final thoughts on the Jose sacking or Ryan Mason before we move on to the other big news of the day?
Ryan Mason, up the lads. Come on, you Spurs. Jose sacking. Like I said, I think I need at least another 12 hours to
I
not
understand.
feel so salty about
Yeah,
it. Uh, yeah, but I
that's
guess
how
it's
I felt with Poach, bro. I know how you feel. It's
yeah,
how I was with Pochettino. I was very upset.
yeah. And I mean, what players have left the club since he left?
Only a few. Only a few.
Yeah, well,
Kyle Walker Peters.
Sessignon, but that was a loan.
Yeah, that was just a loan. Juan Foyt, that was a loan, but it looks like who knows? Maybe he'll come back in the summer. Depending on who's the manager, who knows? But I assume Valencia, or excuse me, Villarreal are probably going to buy him though. He's been doing really good for them in the Europa League. But all right, my friend. The next big news of really the last 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever you want to call it, um, the European Super League. So we'll dive into what it is exactly and how it impacts world football. Initial reaction, though, was a mixed bag. So let's get into what this actually is. So the European Super League is basically a group of 12 clubs from across Europe's biggest leagues, and it's going to be called like we said, the European Super League. And it would offer permanent spots to some of the world's biggest clubs. And essentially, it's it. I kind of thought about it this way. It's kind of like the NFL, but on a smaller scale, where you're just playing the same teams every single season, and it's the biggest clubs in the world. Like I said, there's AC Milan, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, Manchester United, Tottenham Hotspur, just
Juventus,
Juventus as well. Yep. Um,
Atleti.
and then yes, Atletico Madrid. So
And then
it's
there
basically going
was,
to be a mini league that would be hosted in midweek competitions while the
yeah.
clubs still play in their domestic leagues. But essentially what this does, it's being funded by JP Morgan, and they're basically injecting money into this
Oh, fuck.
tournament.
That's my bank.
They're going to get more revenue from the TV sponsors because they're going to be playing much bigger games on a more frequent scale. They're going to get more bonuses from JP Morgan since it's privately funded by them. And then clubs alone are getting a share of $3.1 billion just for signing on. So if you want to take that into individual teams, each team by just signing this deal is getting $300 million. That is absurd. So the main sticking point is clubs are losing a lot of money. This is one of the easiest ways for the biggest clubs to retain that revenue, get it or that lost revenue, get it back and get football, as they quote unquote say, back on track. It's going to save world football. But there's a lot of uproar about this. Jacob, what were your initial reactions? I know you were a little bit confused about it at first, but after you got more knowledge of that information, what did you ultimately come up with, man?
So the first couple assessments that I saw was there was 12 that agreed. There was three more to be announced later, which my assumptions says either German or French teams. But for me, I didn't see it so negatively at first, but I guess it's because I didn't really deep dive into it. I saw it as more football. Okay, that's great. Let me see more.
Yeah,
Do I want to see Tottenham play Barcelona and Real Madrid twice? No, I don't, unless it's in the Champions League. And so I was watching, there was Sky Sports News on. I had to have it on this morning, just to kind of hear what people are saying here, what the pundits think. And then you know, I want to say it was Robbie Musto or Robbie Musgraves. I don't know.
yeah,
One of the NBC guys,
Musto.
he made a really good point that there was a team that's in the English two division. I can't remember the name that he said he started out with. And he's like, they have 5,000 fans, but when COVID hit, this club fed 200,000 families in need. And he said basically what this is going to do is take away the revenue for those types of clubs. And I'm not sure how the money part kind of goes over my head, but from what I've gathered from what he said and from what other people have said, is it sounds like it's kind of like a big middle finger to everyone in English football that's not one of the big six.
Yeah,
Um, I've been reading that's been greedy. I've been reading that it's just a money grab, which on one hand, I'm like, can you blame the club, right? Everyone lost a lot of money from COVID. Can you blame them for wanting to sign a deal to get them, what'd you say, 300 million?
yeah.
I mean, if you ask me
Just
to
for
sign
signing
on,
on.
hey,
Just for signing on.
that's what I'm saying. You ask me to sign on the whatever deal, 300 million, shit, I'm gonna sign that deal.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think the repercussions of this and what it means for, uh, like the championship, uh, uh, I'm not sure, but it sounds like it's not good for everyone. It's basically good for these six uh, English teams and bad for everyone else. So to
Yeah.
me, that sounds like a bad deal. but again, the money stuff's kind of just over my head. To me, more football sounds good, but that does kind of lessen your Premier League experience, right? Because now these six teams have, I mean, I don't think Man City needs any more money, but now these teams have an influx of cash to spend on their club. And I think if you're playing on a Wednesday, you're playing Barcelona, and then you have Burnley on the weekend, and then
Mhm.
that following Wednesday you have uh give me Juventus or another big club. You're not going to care. You're going to field a lesser quality team on the weekend for Premier League, and
And
I think
and
that it
the
makes
thing
that
is,
suffer.
the thing about the European Super League is that you don't lose your place, from my understanding. So along those lines of what you're saying about playing those smaller teams in the Premier League, like midweek or just on the weekend, kind of like a game in between bigger games, there you're not going to care about those games because regardless of where you finish in the Premier League, you're still going to be in the European Super League. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, but then that brings up the
why are they going to care about those games? You know what I mean? And
because
the other
it's you
part of it,
versus Real Madrid, right? Like you want to
exactly,
win that
exactly.
game.
Yeah. And you're going to be on the biggest stage, right? And you're going to get obviously more money. That's the whole reason why you're joining this European Super League. So why would you care about the smaller games in the Premier League? The other bad thing about this, man, is that once these teams get rich and powerful, there's just going to be such a large divide, such a large gap
Right.
between those top teams and the teams in the middle of the table and the bottom of the table. What if we are getting 300 million just for signing on, we're going to get millions and millions more for just playing in these games. Doesn't even matter if we win them, just playing in them. You realize how, the quality of players we're going to have compared to your like West Broms or even like your Crystal Palaces, Wolves, um, those bottom teams, Fulham, Brighton, those kind of teams. The divide is
It's
just going to
not
be so
fair.
big, the gap's going to be so large that yeah, it's just not fair anymore. And the other big sticking point was that relegation and promotion is a big thing in Europe. It's part of the game.
I would love
You
to
if
see it
you
here in America, honestly.
Exactly, and there's been multiple arguments for that system of soccer slash football to come here in the United
I would
States.
love it if MLS did that with USL League
It'd
One
be
and
fun,
Championship.
and it keeps
Yeah.
it fresh. It keeps it new. That's the one thing I love about European football is because it keeps it fresh, it keeps it new. There's always that danger that hey, if you're losing way too many games in a particular season, there's always going to be
Yeah.
that chance that you're going to get out of that league. You're going to get booted out of that league and sent down to the second division. Now you're not going to really have that danger, or you're not going to have that danger
If you're in the
because
club
the
and
gap's
you
going to
ain't
be so
throwing
wide.
money, you're getting kicked out the club. It's that simple.
Exactly.
But here in
And I
America,
think
it
that
doesn't
was
work like that. Here in America, everyone gets a fucking trophy, and that's what's wrong with society. And we could get into that, but I don't think this is the pod for that. We could start a different pod about that. But yeah, man, I think it takes a lot away from the Premier League, takes a lot away. I mean, I saw the warm-up shirts for Leeds versus Liverpool. They had the
said earn
Champions
it.
League, earn it.
Yep,
Football is for the fans, and I agree. I think football is for the fans. Without fans, football
definitely.
ain't. You,
Definitely.
but man, I'm very torn on it, personally, just because more Tottenham Hotspur games, I'm all for it, baby. I want to watch. So, but the repercussions, like it's kind of selfish, right? If this just means okay, our team has all this money and all this, publicity around it that we already kind of have, but now
Yeah.
these lower tier teams. I mean, I think the beauty of the Premier League is on any given day, man, Leeds United could fucking score in
What do we
stoppage
always say on
time.
the pod? That there is no easy games in the Premier League. This is a perfect example of that.
They
And
want to
a
make it easy
perfect
now.
example is actually just today. Leeds United just drew with Liverpool. Super League Liverpool. They just drew with them and they
Hey,
scored a
they beat Super League last game. They beat
yeah.
Super League in stoppage time. I mean, that
Hmm.
shit's cool. Like, who
Yeah.
doesn't want to see that? Especially if
Exactly.
you want them to drop points. So, yeah, man,
And then the
it's
runs like Atalanta in the Champions League, you're not going to get that in the UEFA Super League because the teams are all going to be ridiculous. You're going to expect them to do good, and you're not
yeah.
going to get those magical runs anymore.
I
You're going to have
understand
like
it.
Bayern and PSG winning the Champions League every single year just because they're the only big teams that aren't going to the UEFA to the European Super League. Like it's ridiculous.
Let me ask you this. Okay. Say this goes, or first off, do you think it's gonna go through? And secondly, if it does go through, does that mean, are we gonna, I've heard that we might even get kicked out of the Premier League. I mean, because
So
doesn't
there are
Barclays sponsor the Premier League? And if JP Morgan is coming in, that's like
well, it's
banking
gonna
confliction,
be
right?
it's UEFA and FIFA who are the main drivers of revolting against this idea of the Super League. And part of obviously UEFA and FIFA, the Premier League board of directors are all part of that or whatever. They're all connected in some
Yeah.
way. Um, and yeah, it's just bad for football, man. Like it's simply bad.
You know what
Do
pisses
I
me off the
think
most?
do I think it's actually going to happen? To be honest, man, I'm starting to get nervous because with the
I
way
don't think it
everything
will.
all of these board of directors for these big clubs are talking, the way that the Real Madrid president just came out and talked about how the Super League is going to work and why they're doing it and how great they think it is, like honestly, man, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually went ahead and did it.
Yeah.
I am leaning, I would say 65% of me says it's going to happen and 35% of me says it's not going to happen.
I'm
And
the
what was your
opposite.
second question? What was your
Well,
second question?
I'm the opposite of your answer. Most of
Okay.
me thinks it won't happen. Part of me thinks it will.
Okay. Second
Um,
question.
Second question is, if it does happen, are we going to get kicked out of the Premier League?
So there were talks today that that might be the case. Until we know more info, man, honestly, I have no idea how to answer that question
Yeah,
because I can't see them kicking out the six, some of the biggest clubs of the Premier
bro,
League. There's no
I
way.
know.
You're
I
going to
was
replace those teams with Norwich, West Brom, Reading,
Swansea,
Wimbledon,
baby,
Norwich, or
Swansea.
Nottingham Forest. Like, yeah, like Swansea City. You're going to lose so much revenue. And I'm pretty sure this violates the contracts with the broadcasting partners and like TV rights and shit.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's gotta violate something because you're paying the Premier League to have all these big teams. That way, NBC Sports, Peacock TV,
man, fuck
like we like to call
Peacock.
it on the pod. They're all going to lose revenue. Not as many people are going to watch the Premier League. Um,
You know
it's
what?
going
If
to
they keep
suck,
giving me all
man.
these damn streaming services, like, fuck them.
I'm over it.
Yeah,
I did read one ironic thing today, which I loved. There was a post on Instagram from Copa 90, and it was basically telling the origins of all of the clubs who are now joining the European Super League. And obviously, Tottenham is one of them. And on Tottenham's slide, it says originally Hotspur Football Club. They were formed in 1882 by a group of schoolboys. They were members of the Hotspur Cricket Club and needed a sport to play during the winter months. So we were established as Tottenham in 1882 by some of the poorest people in the country. That's the thing. The This game was created and grown by the poor and by the working class as entertainment, a distraction, something fun to do, and just like as a hobby. Like these guys were a cricket club and schoolboys who invented Tottenham. And then I also read that Manchester United was formed by a bunch of railroad workers.
yeah. I was gonna say middle class workers. I
Yeah,
remember hearing that.
railway. It was departments in railway companies that were playing soccer, and one of the teams was named Manchester United. Like the game was grown by the fans. It was created by the working class and the poor, and now it is being taken advantage of by the rich. And it is so ironic that the clubs that started off so poor and so little are now the ones reaping the benefits of this, what is going to be Super League. It's
But
so sad, man.
it's not actually the clubs, it's the owners that are going to
The
be reaping
owners,
the benefits.
exactly.
And all
It's
the owners are overseas money anyway, so it all gets
Yep,
convoluted. And I've heard
yep,
nothing but bad things about pretty much every top six ownership.
yep.
Um, so
Ask United
very
what
dis
they think about Ed Woodward,
I
and
don't know
I
who that
guarantee
is.
you, he's their owner and CEO, I believe. And I guarantee you're going to get no answers that are positive about that guy.
Well, Manchester
Um,
United fans are not usually positive anyway, so
that's true. But
last
yeah,
thing I will
man.
say about this whole thing, I think what pisses me off the most about it is you take all the money away, you take all that. Look at how strong a response UEFA has to the fear of competition, as opposed to the way they handle
And losing
racism.
money.
Yeah, as opposed to the way they handle racism. They're so outspoken about, oh no, we're shutting this down. We're fucking doing this, we're doing that. But when it comes to racism and players being abused on during their competitions, they don't give a shit. They just say, oh, that's bad. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
to me, that's what pisses me off the most about it all. It's like
I definitely
uh,
agree.
UEFA is all in an uproar about a different leagues competition towards them,
Yeah,
um, and they're not really actually caring about they want to play the side of, oh, we care about the individuals, this is going to affect the individuals, but they really don't care, because when it comes down to racist abuse, they do nothing.
yeah. It's sad, man.
Yeah,
Who knows? Like we said on the last podcast, all we can do is wait.
yeah.
So like we said, Southampton on Wednesday. We'll see you then for a reaction pod there. We'll preview the big, massive game on Sunday against Manchester City in the Carabao Cup final.
Hopefully I have some more info about what's going
Yeah,
on with
and I was about to say, for the next two pods, I guarantee we're going to get new info and new news by the time we talk to you guys on Wednesday after Southampton, and then I guarantee you there's going to be new info or new news by the time we talk to you after the Carabao Cup final. Um, it's a whirlwind of 24 hours for everyone related to the soccer world. It's going to be an absolutely crazy next few weeks slash months as
yeah.
well. This isn't going to go away anytime soon. I'm sure this might get ugly as well, but like we said, all we can do is wait. As always, thank you so much, guys, for listening to the United Spurs of America podcast. As always, please follow us on Spotify, Twitter, and YouTube. And if you're interested in joining our Patreon, please consider supporting us. Any amount would be greatly appreciated. As always, interact with us on social media. We've been getting a lot more interaction on our social media platforms, specifically on Twitter. Shout out Jacob for driving most of that train. We love your comments. We love your questions. We love the interaction, and we love spreading our love and our passion for this club. It means a lot to us. They're starting to let us down a little bit. The owners and the board of directors are. Hopefully they'll do the right thing. Hopefully everything will work itself out. But as always, up the lads and come
Up
on, you
the
Spurs.
lads, come
Jacob,
on, you
any parting
Spurs.
words?
Jose, hit us up. Come on the pod, bro. I
Talk
know
about
you
your time with Tottenham
you
Hotspur with
you ain't
us.
busy, man. Come on.
For Jacob Wallraven, I'm Michael Ramirez. We'll talk to you guys after the Southampton match.